What up, y'all? So I am so happy with the feedback already from the first video, so I'm gonna keep this going. Let's aim for this video to get 50 likes so that I know that people are tuning in and enjoying them. I'm really happy about doing this, so I'm gonna keep it going for now, and I'll give you like a little personal insight every video, but at the end of the video, so we can just like jump right into the math. Now, this question, let's take a look at it. The magnitude of the gravitational force F between two objects is given by this equation, and like, you know, as soon as people look at this question a lot of times, it's like intimidating, right? It's a physics question, and it could feel like, what is going on here? This looks so complex. And that's what I love about this question, because it's actually very straightforward when you kind of ignore all of the complexity and the craziness, okay? So it says G is a constant. That just means G is a number, like a fixed number. M1 and M2 are the masses of the two objects. And the truth is, for this question, you don't even need to know what the variables represent, okay? And D represents the distances between them, the distances between the two objects, okay? Now, the truth is, again, none of that matters, because watch what the question's asking for. Which of the following expresses the square of the distance between the two objects, okay? So the square of the distance between the two objects. Which variable represents the distance between the two objects? What does it say? D represents the distance between the two objects. So the square of that would just be what? That squared, okay? So the question is really just asking for D squared, all right? So we just have to solve for D squared, and then it says in terms of, which just means on the other side of the equal sign, okay? Gravitational force and mass. It means that the gravitational force and mass, everything else has to be on the other side of the equal sign. So here's all we have to do, okay? So I'm gonna rewrite this equation right here. So we have F equals G M1 M2 over D squared. Now remember, what do we want? We want to solve for that D squared. So we're gonna multiply both sides by D squared, right? So we multiply both sides by D squared. Okay. Now, here's why we're doing that. Okay. It cancels D squared on the right, and on the left now we just have D squared F equals G M1 M2. Well, if we just want to solve for D squared, our last step is just what? Divide both sides by F, okay? And what do we have? D squared equals G M1 M2 over F, right? So D squared equals, this is what we're looking for, the square of the distance equals G M1 M2 over F, which is in which of the answer choices? Answer choice D. Okay, so that's all there is to that question. There's not like a lot more. It's not more complex than that, and that's what a lot of the tough SAT and ACT questions are. They're written in a way to feel super intimidating when they're actually not all that difficult, right? And my personal insight for today is that, you know, basically, I've been hearing a lot from some very smart people who I just love, and, you know, who are alumni from the program, and they've been kind of reaching out and saying, like, you know, during this time with everything that's going on, they just kind of can't help themselves from like scrolling and reading news and just trying to like read everything about the coronavirus, and it just like kind of gets them into a point where it's like, you know, they all of a sudden they see that they've been on TikTok or, you know, news sites for like an hour, you know, and just reading and getting themselves stressed out. And what I found is that the people who are reaching out to me about this are some of the smartest people I know, right? It's not the people that are out there being like, yo, it's cool, bro, like whatever happens, happens. It's not a big deal, like don't stress, you know? It's not those people that are just like maybe not acting the most intelligently about this. It's the people that are very smart. And I think that people who are very smart, oftentimes what happens is, you know, our brains can really start to run off with so many thoughts and so many ideas. And I think what helps me, because I was doing the same thing, you know, I have a little boy, and, you know, I was getting stressed out about all of this. And I think that one of the healthiest things that I did for myself and for my family was I said, you know what, I've read as much as I can read to get a sense of what's going on here. Now that I've read all of that, you know, I'm going to choose my course of action, and, you know, that's it, you know. And I stopped reading. You know, I check in to the news like once every day just to make sure nothing completely crazy happened. But if something really crazy happened, I'm going to hear about it anyways, right? So that's it. And at the end of the day, what I've just tried to train my brain to do is not allow itself to function from that place as much as possible, because even if those worst case scenarios are happening, being in that kind of really dark place mentally never helps. And so I just try my best to keep myself, operating from a different place. I love you all, and let me know if you want me to keep these personal insights going too, or if you just want me to stick to content. Peace.